All right. We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Shoot. All right. So, we left off with working on a unit test for this run right strategy. The whole point of this was to make it so we had a very straightforward monster AI that would just move the monster a little to the right, and then we test if they moved faster based on the haste buff. So we have a haste status effect that's supposed to make it so that all the actions and the movements of a monster are increased based on... Oh. Let me bring up the Twitch chat overlay too, before I forget. Okay. Oop. Overlay is not Twitch. There it is. I don't know why it wasn't showing up. There we go. All right, so run right. The last time I tested this, it didn't actually run the AI code. So I want to put a breakpoint right here. And the test we are running is Monster Haste Move Test. And we're creating these unit tests so that we can make sure the haste buff doesn't or works properly for one, and doesn't get messed up in the future as well, of course. Oh wait, it's the other one, isn't it? Monster Run Right test. The haste move test doesn't have any asserts yet, so it just will always pass. Here we go. So in here, I did put a breakpoint which calls run strategy, which then should call the next breakpoint, which is run right. So this move forward apparently doesn't move the monster forward. So we're gonna find out why. So it's definitely a vector that's non-zero. So we call set pause. Now set pause does a lot of things. It will, we don't care about that. Normalize should result in normalized vector, that's fine. Lots of multiplications, okay. So, here's the current position of the, oh, is it? Hold on. Why does it say 62? 62? Also, I thought I had background music. What happened to the background music? Oh no. I literally had background music before I started the stream. Well, let me fix that. Today I was listening to Genso Wanderer. Anyway, for those of you that are tuning in, I hope your day is going fantastic. I really have to save this list so I don't have to do this every single time. Yes. Okay. I think we're good. We're back. Just something quiet in the background. So, for some reason, our sent-in position is 62,12, which doesn't sound right. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's 62,12. I'm not sure why. So we spawn a monster at 12:12. Okay. I'm gonna redo this test. Somehow the past in position is 62,12. Which is definitely not right, so the original board position is 12. I almost want to watch for pause and just breakpoint when it changes. So we'll do that. So we'll break when this changes. Because this pointer should not change. Well, reference. So we'll see where it leads. Okay. That's our breakpoint we set. That's another breakpoint we set. Okay. So following breakpoint was hit. We're in set pause. So we're in underscore set X. So we have adjusted pause. Okay. So we're good there. And for set Y, same thing. 62,13.2. Now, why are we going 13.2? Because Y is 12 here. So for whatever reason, it's 13.2. I'm a little confused. What is this? Also, give me a second. Let me check something. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is just happening because there's no collision. Pause Y would be... Oh, like snapping to a tile. I don't know why that has to happen, though. Like, this? The Y gets modified here. Based on a tile. Okay, okay. I mean, that's fine. I don't think that does anything. That just says, yes, we moved. So we can back out of here. That's not, like, actually affecting the position. So currently the position is 6212, which is correct. So we had... both of these return true. So set pause should have changed the position. So the monster's position is now 62,13.2, which obviously doesn't match what we're actually aiming for. So I'm not sure why that happens, but obviously that's gonna fail the assert. Oh. Breakpoint was hit. Again? Oh, operator delete. That's fine. Wait, operator delete? Hold on. What? I am so confused. Like, we clearly see that the game has updated the position of the boar by the time we get to here, right? I think that much is clear. It's not correct because it's also adjusting the Y, but it's also not just frozen. Like, let's look at this. Boar. Position is 12. I'm confused. Why does that happen? Oh no. Monsters to be spawned. When we do a game update, that's when the boar gets spawned. It gets spawned on a tick later, and then it starts running. So... but that doesn't make sense because the reference here should be the same? That might not be true, right? Let me see. So it's a pointer to the new monster, and it's a shared pointer. So if it's a shared pointer, that means this is going to be passed on to a monster spawned in the game. And this is a... So does the monster reference a different monster when this gets passed on? Do we have to pass the pointer instead? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe we haven't had this bug so far because we haven't used this code in this way. That's my theory. So this code might be bugged and this test might have revealed it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pass a weak pointer of this new monster instead of a reference. Because I think what's happening is this reference gets broken the moment it gets transferred from monsters to be spawned to the actual monster list. That's my theory anyway. I hope that's semi-correct. So that's my hunch. I'm gonna do this instead. We're gonna pass a weak pointer. It sent me here. I have no clue where this is. Hello? Spawn... What? Hold on. Spawn monster. There it is. So instead of passing a reference, let's pass a weak pointer. Oh. I guess I could put this over here this whole time. Maybe. Maybe like... Don't know what I want with this. Oh. That's not right, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with this yet. Maybe I will just put it on the side. Okay. Like this. Okay. I think I like that one more. Okay. I don't know why I did it like that. I think for convenience sake, I'm going to probably have to change some code now because there's probably some code that doesn't compile anymore because of this. Anyways, the container that owns this pointer changes after one tick. So... yeah. But this should work. I don't expect this to cause any issues, and it should reference the same monster. I'm surprised that I haven't used any code that utilizes this yet, where we store the reference and then use it after the monster has spawned. I guess it's a little bit of a niche case and is very error prone, so I'm kind of glad I caught it now rather than later. I hope this is the only problem with it, but when I rebuild, it's probably going to mess up everything because there are a couple other places where this code is used, so we're gonna have to fix that now. I'm just waiting for the error list. I'll grab some water in the meantime. Alright, so as expected, we have a couple of errors. So, yeah, we have to change these now. Now, my hunch is that all these other ones, they do not actually use the reference past the spawn point. So in this case, that is true. There's that one. Ooh. There's a lot of these in Pirate Captain. Well, there's one here in Pirate Captain, but we can see we grab the reference and then we immediately set it by getting the weak pointer. See, okay. So this is what I think I kind of meant by that was, even though we grab the reference, we know that it's going to be bad, a bad reference, when it moves from this list, the prepare spawn monsters list, to the actual monster list. So instead, we get a weak pointer and we store that. So now, guess what? I can just replace this code. So I kind of already had the intuition that, hey, I'm going to need to do something like this in the future. Oh, it's the parrot that gets this. So, yeah. I feel like I should just type auto, but at the same time, it's a little more ambiguous. Like, in a case where I have a weak pointer versus like a raw pointer or something, if I can't read the code and immediately understand what the type is, then I like to type out the type instead of using auto wherever I can, because it becomes immediately more clear that that is what the type is. It's just really that simple. Okay. Enchant tests. Am I missing? Here we go. Okay. So under here we have new monster. Okay, see, in here it works. So I wonder if that's not the bug. In here it works, but why does it work here? Oh, it's probably because we just wait. Is that what I have to do? Do I have to just wait? I don't know. Now I'm doubting myself, because this... Because this is a pretty big refactor. Like, we can see, well, actually it's cut off, but there is a giant list of errors because of this refactor. So maybe something else is going on. I guess we don't really have proof that the reference is becoming stale. Like, there's nothing indicating that is actually the problem. So should I back up? Let's back up real quick. Let's look at it again, as in, like, let's debug it a little more. It's easy to just fall into this trap of, hey, let's change it because we think this is the problem. Think is the issue I have with that. Because if we think it's a problem, but we don't actually know, and we change it, we're gonna find out we have the same issue, it's something else. Then guess what? We have to undo this anyway. We need to confirm that this reference is the same monster that is being spawned. Now my guess is we only run one update tick, and at that update tick we're going to spawn in the monster, which is why we get a monster at 12:12. Maybe we're adjusting this imaginary monster before it spawned, but it hasn't actually spawned yet. And then it's being run... Well, it's not being run, so... do a game update for 0 ticks just to get it spawned, and then run a game update. That's probably the issue. Shall we give it a whirl? It is very, very easy to fall into a programming trap like that. Of just, I don't know what's wrong, I'm just gonna try whatever, right? I have to wait for this to rebuild because it is a pretty big rebuild. I was thinking of putting this somewhere else, like, if I could just watch it right here, that would be great. I like that more, I think. It can just be on my other screen, I can watch it, and yeah. I also won't be blocked for the stream, which is nice. It'll just be on my other monitor. I think I'll flip these though. Like, you go... oh. You go there. Go here. I think I like that more. What's funny is it shows up in my webcam too, so that's kind of fun, right? It's like if I'm rebuilding, you can tell it's rebuilding. That's fun. Anyway, let's see if this test runs. Oh, I have errors. Did I forget to fix something? Lock is now a member of Monster. I forgot to fix or undo one. There we go. That shouldn't require a complete recompile because that was just in the middle of compiling everything. It wasn't a header or anything. Just the implementation. I kind of like the idea of just having the build output there show up over there. I really like that. Okay, let's just look. It almost worked. Almost, because this Y position still changes. And I don't know why. That must be... oh, you know what? That might be just an artifact of the monster. No, because we just call a move forward. A move forward is just supposed to literally move the monster forward. So this test still fails, but now it's actually moved the monster. So it's just off by this amount. But it does reveal another bug. Move forward doesn't actually move forward. It moves forward and down? Question mark? So we gotta figure that out. And the culprit, we actually saw it earlier, is set Y. Underscore set Y has this line in it, where it will clamp to I don't even know how I'm supposed to read this, to be honest. It clamps between the tile width divided by 2 times the size multiplier. So the tile width normally is 24. So tile width divided by 2 is 12. The size multiplier of a bore is larger than 100%. If I'm not mistaken, the size of a boar is... where's my monsters? I'm gonna put this over here. It's like miscellaneous data. The size of a boar is 110%, and 110% is that number, right? 110% of 12? Like 10% of 12 is 13.2? Because there'll be 1.2 more, right? Yeah. That checks. That checks. So that's where that number's coming from. Why do we clamp to that? Why do we clamp to that? Oh, because it's the edge of the map. Okay, so a monster takes up... If a monster has 100% size, its default radius is 12 units. That's where this number comes from. So it's actually snapping to the edge of the map because I'm spawning it. It's basically too fat. It's too fat! Okay. Well, that's the issue then. It's working as intended, as in it gets stuck in the upper left corner of the map because it snaps to it. So that's just my fault for spawning it in a bad location. Spawning a large monster in a bad location. So this test should pass now. If I did it right. Well, we're spawning at 2424, so... That's gonna put the original boar pause a little lower, but we're just adding to it, so... This test should now work. See? The problem was a lot more trivial. It wasn't actually because of a stale reference or anything. And if it was a stale reference, we would have gotten bugs in this game a long time ago. Way before this. Okay, the test has passed. Good. I'm glad everything's working now. Interestingly enough, I had monster AIs turned off. Oh, speaking of which, we did have a major change to the code when it came to testing, as in we turned the monster AIs back on. So I'm actually going to run every single test in the background because we need to know if that has affected any other tests and fix them, because turning on the monster AI should not have affected that. And I hope it doesn't. So in the meantime, while the tests are running, so right now they're being run and hopefully they pass. Do I want to put this somewhere else? Let's put this somewhere else too. I like that idea. Keep it here. I like the idea of having this monitor be like the passive monitor of what's going on in the background. I like that idea. So we'll keep that like that. Okay. That's fun, because I don't usually use this monitor for much, so it gets to sit there with all the background stuff. So what else are we testing? Well, the run right test works, so we know the AI works. Now we're back to the haste move test, which is okay, so we're also spawning a parrot now, which is smaller, but I am going to spawn it at 2424. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to first test, okay, without haste, does it run properly, right? That's what it should be doing. Also, we're going to remove any trace of the hasten buff, mention of the hasten buff inside the first assert. We don't need it. So in here, we're going to get the original parrot position now. We're gonna make sure it spawns. I'm actually gonna add a comment for that, so I know this is why I'm doing it. Make sure... I can't tell you, God. Make sure monster spawns. One day I'll type it right. First. Okay. So now, this is all gonna stay the same. None of that changes. And then we are going to say without the hasten buff. Then we're gonna add the hasten buff to the parrot, and we're gonna test it again. Parrot add buff. We're adding Hasten. It took me a minute to remember what we were doing. Even though I literally just said it, right? Let's just do infinite. Because we're gonna remove it and test it again, just like the player. And the intensity of it will be 30%. 30% is a good number to test with, in my opinion. So after we add the buff, we're going to get the parrot position again. I'm gonna do the same thing I did for the player, which is put this in its own scope. That way I can use the same variable, but I won't be confused that it's going to be a different variable under the same name. So same name, but in a different scope, so it's like it doesn't exist. This one doesn't exist in this scope, and vice versa. Just makes it easier for us to see what's going on. If the code basically looks the same, so we gave a hasten buff, and then we're going to move the parrot again, and this time instead of moving 50 units, it should have moved 65, because 30% of 50 is 15. So we expect it should have moved 65 units, and probably a little more, because I purposely used the board because it has a 100% move speed, but for the parrot, we're now going to expect it to move, it has a move speed of 180%, so actually when I calculate it in the tests, I do, wait, do I? Hold on. Yeah, I do 65 times whatever the move speed multiplier is, because that's the expected amount. If we changed the parrot's move speed in the move speed multiplier, or if we change the move speed in the monster database, then it's not going to kill this test. Also, speaking of tests, so far all the tests are passing, so I'm happy to report that. We still got like 80 more tests to check though, so. There are over 200 tests in my game now. It's kind of insane. So... like I said, it's very, very powerful though. Once you have them in, they're basically like little minions you hire to check your code every single time, to check your game every single time for very specific things. So that's very handy. Also, the assert still says boar. Now it's a parrot. So we're gonna run this test. Oh, we have a failed test. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So, this one's based on monster collision radius, and player takes collision damage from the parrot, and this kind of makes sense because now that the monster AIs are running, this might be affected. So we're gonna go into there and take a look. See how this is implemented. Okay. So this is the assert that failed. Players should take collision damage from the parrot. So my guess is the parrot probably flew off and the player spawning in probably did not cause a collision. So here's parrot. Parrot gets spawned at 0, 0. We wait 1 second. So if we wait a second and the player is at 0, 0, the parrot's gonna get up and fly away. And it gives no time for the player to take damage again, because if we update, it's gonna fly away. Let me see. So we force the player to be at 0, 0, but the parrot's probably player. Who knows where the parrot is at this point? These asserts worked fine because we had an original collision. So the easiest way to do this is to just disable the parrot's AI, because we don't really care about the AI for this particular test. So the strategy for this will be that run, I think I put underscore run right. Might have to, let me double check that. No, I called it test run right. Okay. So test run right. disable default AI for testing purposes, testing collisions. Yes. So that should fix that test. We'll rerun it. Every other test passed. Yippee! So it's just that one. We'll rerun it. So we have to run this test, and we have to run the monster haste move test. Wherever my test explorer is. There it is. Okay. Run these two, please. Hopefully that fixes them. Yay! They're both passing now. Okay, very good. So, that tests the monster haste movement. What else can we test? Do we want to test anything? I guess not. That should do it. That's literally all we have to do. We have to just make sure the move speed works right. If that's working, everything else should be working, because technically the monster is faster and more actionable than it used to be. So, with that in mind, we get to finally do our commit and be done with unit testing for Haste. So Haste buff unit tests implemented. And we just did a full retest as well, so we know all the other code works. Test implementations completed. And that was 230 tests passing. And we are now on release build 12287. Okay. Commit. Yay! Done with that. I'm kind of glad to be done with that, because that was very much something that we've had to work on for a while. So I'm glad to be done with that. We found a lot of bugs, but that's part of the fun of unit testing. We also found just a lot of ways to implement tests correctly. Implementing tests can be pretty tricky sometimes. Alright, so next up we're going to do Skeleton, Barbarian, other behaviors other than the Hasten buff, because we know the Hasten buff now works. Do we want to visually make the Hasten buff do something? Because I was thinking, okay, so a monster has haste. How do you know? Right? Should we make it glow? I think we should make it glow. Probably like just flashing red over and over. I think that's very fair. So maybe we should at least do that. So is it cold today? I'm probably gonna turn up the heat. I just really want to be cozy. Okay. Alright, so normal behavior, it's going to follow Goblin Dagger AI. That part's pretty simple. But according to the spec, the condition is when entering a 400 range to a player, we're going to use the whirlwind attack. And it has a 10-second cooldown. So we're going to need a variable to track the cooldown of the whirlwind. And probably when we initialize, we're going to immediately set the whirlwind cooldown to 10 seconds, or no? Should it be available immediately? Let's think. Monster spawns in, it immediately whirlwinds you. Is that rude? That could be rude. We could randomize the cooldown. It starts with anywhere between a 0 to 10 second cooldown, or maybe like a 3 to 10 second cooldown. This makes me want to add a variable, because this very easily could be tweaked to change how it works. So let's add a variable. Let's call it... So this isn't... Oh wait, yeah, it is true. Let's add a variable called whirlwind starting cooldown. And let's make it... 3 to 10. I think that's very fair. And then another variable is the whirlwind cooldown itself. Whirlwind cooldown is going to be 10 seconds. And then let's add another variable for the whirlwind attack range. Hi, Codelivian, welcome. Why is my chat down there again? How'd it move? But yes, welcome. Good to see you. Whirlwind cast range. 400 units. We're gonna add a comment that says, how close monster has to be to perform whirlwind. Okay. I think those are all the variables we're gonna need. So we'll start with this one. The whirlwind starting cooldown will be a range. So let's just initialize a variable. What is it gonna be? It's going to be a float. What is going on here? Hello? Do I not have monster strategy helpers? I do. So this should work. Unless I'm crazy. Alright, hold on. Yeah, this... this is how we do it. I don't know why it's not recognizing this. Maybe I have to add something else. So let's try... Maybe defines? I'm just trying to think where it would be located. Oh, I see it. We have to put using A equals attribute because A is something else, apparently. That probably fixes that. There we go. And we're just gonna do, since this is the only attack, we're gonna do attack cooldown. Okay. And we'll set it equal to that random range. The range will be between... Whirlwind Strike cooldown. Element 0. And Element 1. Okay. And then during the normal phase, which we should advance the phase, by the way. Set phase to normal. We're gonna subtract the attack cooldown by elapsed time. And if it's less than or equal to 0, then we check the range. So we'll get the distance between the monster and the player. So we'll get distance from player. Game does not exist. I did say I would start doing this, so I guess I'm gonna commit. I already don't do much spaces, so... What's one more? I totally found out this can be done by complete accident, but I'm like, oh hey, it saves me from typing one extra space. We love not typing spaces. Also, why isn't this recognized? It should be recognized. Oh, I have to include game. I forgot. I forgot that's a thing, because it's literally a global variable. All right. So I made a macro that will do that for us. So we'll get the distance from the player, and we compare that to see if it is less than or equal to the whirlwind cast range. And if it is, we get to cast it. Otherwise, we do Goblin Dagger stuff. Actually, I'll just set the phase here and we break. Or continue. Continue? No, break. Okay. So this is the windup for the whirlwind. We're gonna need some kind of variable to actually track the windup. Although, I guess it's inherited from the... what's it called? The windup gets inherited from the monster it's copying. It's copying the Marauder. Okay. So since we're copying the Pirate Marauder... it's going to use its variables by default, and we're gonna kind of keep that. So here's the slash windup time. I think that's all we need. We just need the slash windup time. So this variable is actually going to be inherited. Wait, is that true? No, that's not true. So we need to make this variable happen. Yes, I'm copying the behavior, but I'm not inheriting the script. I'm recreating it because it's the same exact thing. So slash wind up time. Could I technically do it? Yes, but I'm not going to separate just the slash itself. I'd rather just grab the code and bring it in, because I don't think it's going to be used again. So I'm not really invested in actually separating out just the whirlwind slash in general, but we could make an AI that just does that part. So here's prepare whirlwind. It uses a casting timer. It also has the spinning animation, which I think we also have over here. We do, so we can just reference the spinning animation for the skeleton barbarian as well, because it has that animation already. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. That's super easy. Literally basically the same code for this and that. Obviously we have to make the variables, but that's about it. And we have to change the phasing and stuff. Okay. So here we have a casting timer. We have to set it when we prepare to do the whirlwind. So let's do that. So that's where the whirlwind charge up time comes in. It also gives a speed boost. I assume we still want the speed boost because Quapsel, the designer of the game, specified that it's going to be the same as the Pirate Marauder. So we expect that they also get a speed boost so that when they spin, they're charging at us at a very fast speed. It's also going to be doing the spin animation in preparation. So we're going to need that as well. I think the spin animation is just like a precast kind of thing. They'll like charge up and spin, spin, spin. So we're gonna see what that looks like real quick. We just gotta go find it. So according to the list, it is the animation right before the spinning animation. So yeah, it's kind of like this like preparation slash with casting outline. So we need that. Skeleton Barbarian. Clearly doesn't have that right now. This is just a placeholder sprite, of course. But I will have to add this in because we want to indicate that it's going to happen, so... I'm just trying to find an appropriate sprite, but maybe we'll just use this. This'll work too. I don't know what size these are, but I definitely have to check what's going on there. What's this grid? $12 by 12? Are we like... What is the size of this? Sheep frame size is 4848. 3232. Oh wow. We've gone from irregular to normal. Okay. Interesting. So 32 by 32, let's expand by 1, 2, 3, 4. 32 times 4 is 128. 128 plus 1024. 1152. Just trying to do quick math. Okay. So I'm gonna add the spin animation in between those two sets. And again, it's just placeholder sprite, so nothing fancy. I see, I probably scaled this guy down just to make it fit, because it was 48 by 48 before, so I assume if I do whatever, I think I scale it down by 50%? No, 25%? Oh, 1.5. $128 divided by 1.5 is 85-ish. Sure. Just do no interpolation, why not? And then now I guess it fits, kinda? Wait, what happened to the... Oh. I scaled the image, not the layer. 96. Divide by 1.5 is 64. Okay. So we'll just go with that for now. Placeholder sprites. Eventually we'll get actual sprites for them. This will work for now. I'm doing game dev, of course. Gotta iterate quickly. We don't really have to... We have to first make it work, then we make it pretty. So I'm adding another animation to the Skeleton Barbarian. The spin animation, which is the preparation for the actual attack. I also set path direction, which... I don't know if I need that. Oh, I see, I see. So we're basically saying, okay, you're going to use the run towards function, but you're going faster. Oh, I actually used move forward and I used the path direction. Okay, so I just chose that as a variable. That makes more sense. So not only are we going to set the phase to wind up whirlwind, we're going to do a ton of other stuff in preparation for the whirlwind attack. The whirlwind attack needs more variables. Whirlwind charge up time. Where are the rest of the variables? There's gotta be more, right? Oh, it's in the strategy itself. Wait, why am I writing... Oh, I see what I did wrong. I have to write all the strategy variables inside of monsterstrategies.txt. Ooh, so I already... Okay, so I already did this. I prepared, and I just didn't know. Where am I? So get rid of these. Except... the starting cooldown thing. I think I like the starting cooldown, and I'm actually going to put it in the... I'm going to put them in the actual strategy file, because that makes sense. So starting cooldown, attack range, whirlwind charge up time, bonus move speed, spin time, knockback amount, radius. Good. So I put all the variables I'm going to need in here already, which is excellent. So here's whirlwind starting cooldown, whirlwind cast range. It should be attack range. It looks like I changed the name slightly, but same exact idea. We have the whirlwind charge up time, whirlwind spin time. So far so good. Put this over here. And then we go to Wind Up Whirlwind. During Wind Up Whirlwind, we're going to reduce the casting timer, which we set up here with Whirlwind Charge Up Time. When it hits 0, we're going to set the phase to the Whirlwind phase. Chase timer becomes 0. I assume that's going to go up? Yes. Chase timer increases. When it's greater than or equal to the Whirlwind spin time, we're going to set the phase back to normal. We're done. So normal. Maybe a cooldown period? Like, we can have a recovery period. I don't know if I just like it immediately turning into a normal, but we'll see. Move forward her targets based on whirlwind radius with a knockback amount. Whirlwind radius, knockback amount. Cool. I think we're good to go here with all these set up. I literally just copy pasted the Pyro Marauder spin code, so that should initialize the whirlwind. And the final part of the spec, which is already implemented, was dropping below 300 HP gives a permanent hasten buff. So we're ready to go ahead and test the behavior of this monster. I'm going to add it to the map, a map. Where should we add it? I guess I want to test a chapter 4 map. Just throw it in there for the sake of going with the theme, right? Even though the sprites are incorrect. Here we go. So I have Skeleton Warriors here. Let's do Barbarian. Do I even have the Barbarian on here? I don't think so. I don't. Okay, so we're gonna have to add the Skeleton Barbarian to our templates. So the way this works is I have an image. The image contains a tile set of all the monsters, just like pictures of them. So if I go to, I want to say it's just maps. Here it is. Monster presets. So we have the monsters tile set, where I go ahead and I add a monster to here. I don't know what the size would be. It looks like it's something big. Okay, 48 by 48. Perfect. Then we grab a sprite. We add it to it. I'm just like, sure, this will, oh wait. I'm like, sure, this'll work for now. And we import it. After we've added it to the monsters tile set, we're gonna go over to the monster map, which should be in here somewhere. So here's monster presets. We can just copy one of these and change it. Oh, we also have to go to the custom types editor. We have to go to monster name. Monster name? I don't think we have to do that. I think we just... No. Yeah, we changed all this. So... I'm trying to think what we do next. So we definitely have to make a tile from the monsters tile set. Wherever that is. Right here. After we create it, we set its class to monster. The name is optional, but it helps us identify it, right? So, skeleton... No, the name is not optional. The name actually determines what the monster spawn is. I remember, that's why we did it that way. That way we just make sure that as long as the name matches, you know exactly what monster that is. It's kind of smart, it's kind of weird, but it works. It just makes things easy for us. So, yeah. Okay. And once we have that, we actually save it as a template, and we just name it. So, Skeleton Barbarian. Once it's in here, we can go back to our map. And we can go to our list of monster presets. And we can go ahead and drag it in. It should be that easy. As long as we're on the correct layer. Yes. We can get rid of these guys. Also, for some reason, that outline is very tiny. I don't know why that is. Can I fix that? Preferences... Theme, maybe? No? Interface... Object line width. Okay, here we go. Oh. That's not... I was hoping it would change this one. Okay, well... in either case, we added that in. I'm just gonna duplicate it. And... set all their spawners. Okay. And then it should spawn when we load up level 4-1. So we're gonna go play the game now. We have to first rebuild the game, of course. So I'll let that happen. And then we'll just try fighting against this skeleton barbarian and see how it pans out. Hopefully controller's still good. It appears my controller has died. Okay, let me grab a charger. Oh, hi, Plasticky. Welcome. Good to see you. Okay. Game is still building? Oh. Succeeded. Okay. I still have to send my startup project. Start project. Set. Start. I'm gonna turn down the game volume though. Okay. Hopefully this works. Please work. Yes. Okay. So we're testing monster. We're just gonna let them spawn in and run around. Why does going up do that? What? That should not be happening. Hold on, what is going on? Why are you doing that, game? I wonder if it's reading... No. Somehow. So what I'm doing is I'm holding up on the analog stick of my controller, and it appears to just keep pressing up inputs until it can't press up inputs anymore. And only the analog stick. And it's only for up. And I can see it's doing this for every single one. So what just happened there is if I just press up this whole... Oh. Is this for anything? No. Wait, is that just... Is 1-1 supposed to go to 4-1? Hello? No. Something's broken. Alright, we're gonna have to look at that. That's not good. That is definitely not good. And, okay, and it's even different for the analog stick. It will go up as many times as it needs to. That's so weird. That is so weird. Alright, we're gonna have to look into that. Something's really messed up right now. Alright, let's see this monster behavior. Alright. Alright, we're just gonna... Hello? Do we have, like, invisible sprites? Hold on. Am I missing sprites? Or did I not change the sprite size? No, it's not quite like that. It's just on the analog stick, if I hold up, it just goes as high up as it can. If I press up on the D-pad, it just goes up once, but for some reason at 1-1 it goes to 4-1. It's the only one that does that. Everything else works fine, but only the D-pad. The analog stick just up is going all the way up on its own. It's supposed to go only up once, and I have to release the analog stick and repress it again. Okay. I mean, the sprite sheet has one of everything. Unless I messed this up. 2 idle frames, 4 walk frames, 4 stabbing frames, 4 death frames, 4 slashing frames, 1 stab frame, 1 slash frame. Wait, what? Yeah. 1 slash frame, 2 spin frames, 4 spinning frames. So there should be no invisible sprites here, as far as I can tell, because I have the correct numbers. Oh, you know what? I just haven't updated the sprite sheet in the asset pack, that's why. Okay. That makes sense. So it's the sprite does exist, but it's using an outdated sprite sheet. I don't know why these keep popping up. But yeah, new bug to look at. There's always new bugs. We'll see what's going on with that in a second. I need to reset the asset pack and just have it remake it. Okay. That shouldn't require a rebuild of the game, just rebuilding of that asset pack. Which luckily only takes like a second. Okay. I'm just gonna go over here. God. Okay. Stop! Alright. Jesus. Okay. Do I not set the cooldown? Attack cooldown. Oh, yeah, I need to reset it. That would be nice. Okay. Yes, it would be great if the cooldown was actually reset proper. Oh, it's over here. Attack cooldown. So that takes care of that. The spin? It's not clear the spin is about to happen. Like, is this just too short? Charge up time is 0.2 seconds. I guess that is really, really short. I wonder why it's so short. Also, the sprite is way different, like size-wise, so I guess the sprite size wasn't matching the radius, which is 200, which is 48, when really it's only 32 by 32. So I'm gonna reduce that to 150, just to make it match with the current sprite. We're gonna say the charge up time will go from 0.2 seconds to, let's say, I'm just gonna do half a second. Hello? Oh, we're just rebuilding some code. Okay. There we go. That looks a little more natural. Okay. So the behavior's right. Obviously the sprites aren't right, but that's fine. That's all we care about right now. Cool. Also, this map is interesting because unlike a lot of the maps in the game, it's a lot more open. So that's kind of fascinating. It's more exploration and less walk down a hallway, which I kind of like. It's also swamp-like, so I guess that makes more sense. It's gonna be interesting playing on this. Yeah, like I said, very interesting map. It's layout. It's very open. Do I have a hotkey for it? There we go. Like, it's very open. It just shows more of the map compared. No, it's about the same actually. Yeah. Fascinating. Very, very open. Placeholder damaged animal bones. That's funny. 10. Oh, does this file have the other thing unlocked? It does. I was wondering, I forgot that's what this was for. I'm like, that's why the charge beam is so huge. Okay. Right. Has the enchant. And 3 charges a multi-shot, which I totally forgot about as well. I have a mana potion? Mana. Oh. One thing I want to fix, this mana sprite, if you kind of notice when it's refilling, it kind of does this weird, like, distorted, like, you can see the sprite that's filling up kind of shifting. That's because it's scaling, like, with decimal values. The health doesn't actually do that. If I go get hurt by stuff, it will actually be segmented. I think it's segmented by like either 5% or 10% intervals. I can show real quick. So it'll be pretty clear because unlike the mana going down, you'll see the health, once that thing moves, is like chunked. It'll just suddenly decrease by quite a few pixels. And same when I heal. You see, it increments by chunks. I want to do that for the mana. I don't know why I didn't. I think I was just being lazy. But I noticed that, and it was really annoying me because the sprite will, like, kind of do this. It'll, like, dance. The pixels will, and I don't really like that. It was just a minor thing that I noticed earlier. But this is the Skeleton Barbarian AI implemented, so we are going to save this first, or commit this, and then we'll go back and do the other stuff. And we have to look at a new bug. That's going to be fun. Always new side quests, right? So, Skeleton, Barbarian, AI, implemented. This is release build 12289, and probably for the first time in like 5 months, maybe 4 months, we actually are going to do a pull request into the master branch. That's exciting. We haven't done one in so long. Like, it's about damn time. Hello? It's been so long. Thank you. Why is there a pull request open? Oh, apparently there were merge conflicts and I have to fix them. Oh, I have to review this too. I forgot. I haven't actually looked at the boss since I finished it, so we have to go and look at that too. Anyway, new pull request. We're going from Skeleton Barbarian into Master. Oh, you know, okay, well, anyway, let's do that. Okay. I like to see that the script and build is still building. That's always a good sign that things are working. So we'll just wait for that. Create a merge commit when checks succeed. I don't really have any other complaints or anything to do, but I will have to make a new bug report. So we will do that. Okay. So scheduled to pull request, auto merge when all checks succeed. Cool. So that's gonna be done. Now we have to figure out this bug. First, we're just gonna play with it. Let's go to Master. Well, actually, let's stay here. And let's see where we're at. Let's figure out in specific detail what works, what doesn't. I'm gonna try keyboard controls first, because this could be controller only, which would be even more concerning, but we'll see. And it's only the up key for whatever reason. So I'm gonna go... Seems fine. Okay. Okay. So we can confirm pressing up, no matter the input type, goes to this node every single time. That's fascinating. Pressing up on the keyboard only goes up once, which is what we want. Pressing up on the D-pad only goes up once. Pressing up on the analog stick somehow goes all the way up there. Pressing left on the analog stick only goes once, right only goes once, down only goes once, so for some reason it's only up on the analog stick where this behavior applies, and only on a controller. Good to know. And we have to fix 4.1. So these are, I think these are two separate bugs. I don't think they're related. So first one is 1-1 goes to 4-1 when pressing up on the overworld map. So that's one bug. It's going to be a master. It's not a master yet because we have to wait for this to build. Are you almost done? Oh, it's waiting to run. Uh-oh. Is my runner... Okay, it's building. I'm like, is my runner dead? Please tell me I don't have to look at server stuff right now. I do not want to be Linux or server admin today. God. Okay, it's building. I'm like, I really don't want to be a Linux server admin today, please. Not today. Anyways, while this is going, I will be right back. Okay, so while we do have to work on more monster AIs, this bug should be addressed first. Is this done yet? Okay, cool. So this merged into master. Master's done. We can delete the branch. Hi, Javid. Welcome. Alright. That's just gonna do its own thing. So, 2 bugs. Fun, fun, fun. Where'd it go? Oh. So, 1-1 goes to 4-1 when pressing up on the overworld map. Good to see you at last. Play a face in name. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Glad to be. Glad to be shown. So that's one. The other one is pressing up on the analog stick. Repeatedly, I guess, continues to go up on the overworld map. At least that's what we're observing. That's what I assume is happening. So, bug. So we're looking into this next. Let's take care of this one first. This one's probably, well, it's hard to say which one's more trivial, actually. This only applies to a controller. Only applies to controller. I wonder when that happened. I wonder if the demo does that. I don't think I had an issue with that on the Steam Deck. Do I care to test? Yeah, why not? Let's open it real quick. Couldn't hurt, right? Okay. Alright, so we'll just try the same exact test. There's no... Okay, it does happen here. So the demo has this issue too, and I just probably never tested. Interestingly enough, I don't think I did this on the Steam Deck, so I must have not realized, but it does happen here as well. Keyboard works fine, D-pad works fine. Yeah, that's interesting. And only up for whatever reason. Oh yeah, yeah. The Steam API is really nice, so if you get an opportunity to play with it, it's a lot of fun. Steam offers a lot of cool services too, so I just had fun messing around with all that and creating a lot of extra spaghetti that I probably admittedly didn't need to do right away, of course. Yeah, but feel free to ask. I know Annie also... Annicator helped me with quite a bit when it came to achievement mapping, so that was fun. But I mostly played around with the controller bits. Hi there, CJ. Welcome. we're working on a game. My RPG game. But yes, welcome, welcome. I'm not really sure where to start with this bug, if I'll be honest. I think the first thing we want to do is figure out why 1-1 goes to 4-1. I can pull up some relevant code, but it's not going to matter yet. The way this is decided or mapped is done in the overworld map state. So I will open that at least. Game hub. No. Overworld map. So here's the overworld map where when we first load everything in, we're essentially, let me see. Trying to refresh myself with this code, it's been a minute. So handle connection point clicking and movement. I assume the bug is going to be in here somewhere. It's pretty messy. Yeah, of course, of course. I'll be really excited to share the game with everyone once it is done. It's been 3 years in the making, and then some. Okay. So I assume if I'm going to debug, it's going to be in here. I'm probably going to want to look at the connections, and I'm probably going to look when I press a key, what it happens step by step. I think that's where we're going to start. So I'm running this in debug mode. It's going to have to build, so that'll take a minute. But I'll just look at the code real quick. So when we press, specifically, I'm going to be looking at up. So my inputs are divided into input groups. So I guess the first question is, does pressing analog stick up on the controller, has the dot pressed always registered an input every single frame? Because maybe that's the bug and it's not just... Well, in that case, that would mean menuing would be a problem, and I don't think menuing is a problem. Let's just double check. If I press up on the analog stick in a menu, I don't think it navigates further than one option. So we'll verify that. So yes, I'm pressing up on the analog stick here, and it only goes up one option. Like, it will only move up one ever. So that works fine. That's based on held, so that's fine. So I don't think that's an... It seems like it's only an issue for the map select. Yes, there is. The demo is currently available as well. You can actually see it right here. Adventures in Lestoria is the game name. So, it is available publicly. And so you are free to wishlist and follow the page and play the demo if you want. I recently tested it on Steam Deck. That was super exciting. Just having my game played on a little console device, that was really fun. So, debug mode, it's going to lag. But we'll get to see what happens. So I will go here. And we are... So we'll put a breakpoint in here, probably. Once it loads, okay. Actually, before I do this, let me go down to level 1. And then I will press up. Okay, so this breakpoint triggered, which gives us line by line what's going on. So we're not using mouse. Okay. So we're looking at current connection point. Does that tell us anything useful? Okay, stage 1-1. Neighbors. 48, 2, and 1. 48, huh? That's interesting. Why is 48 a neighbor? And 48, for context, should be this node? No, that says 53. What's 48? 48... I'm just looking at the IDs, by the way. They are categorized by IDs, and I believe that is exactly how they're paired. I don't know where 48 is. There's 47. Oh. I wonder if 48 is nothing. That's entirely possible. Because chronologically, I would have added these next. $51. So we have 49, 47. What did I say? 48? 48. 48. I don't see 48. But there's another way we can look. If I open the map file in an editor, we can search for it. Can you go away, please? Okay. So, overworld map. Ah, gotta love programming. Never know when you end up in some random side quest you didn't want to be in. I thought we were just gonna be programming AIs today. Nope. Never quite works out that way, does it? I think it's under campaigns. There you go. So if I open this in an editor, I should be able to search for the number 48. Exactly. Okay, so the interesting bit here is that boss 3 has a connection 3 south and a connection 4 west of 48. So boss 3... Oh! Well, that might explain one of our problems. This doesn't have a connection point back to anything. So that's definitely gonna break things. South, west. What's odd is it says so in here, unless boss 3 is not... Oh, this is boss B-3. This is boss 3. 48, story 3-2. Story 3-2, oh, is down here. So are you telling me the game's trying to navigate to this? Which also doesn't have any... Well, okay, the way I made it was if you make a connection point to one, it makes the reciprocating connection point to the other. So this shouldn't be a problem, in theory. So it thinks that 48 is connected to 1-1. So right here it says it's unset. Now I could delete it. Let me check the map file. I wonder if it actually says that. So there's story 3-2. Yeah, there's nothing. So what does stage 1-1 actually have internally? It has connection 2 east, connection 3 south. This means somehow it got a connection without it ever being connected. How does it even know it's connected to 48, and why do we go instead to, what, 53? So I have even more questions now. I'm even more confused. There's no connection here. 48 is the story node. And we end up at 53. Alright, well, let's just continue. So we pressed up, so it should trigger this one. I would hope. So this should return true eventually for one of these inputs. So did it? I can't tell. No, it returns false. Wait. Okay. Do we have another? Now I'm even more confused. Target direction is currently -1 and it's still -1. Like it doesn't think we pressed up. Oh, maybe it's pulling the keyboard now. I'd like to think maybe it's doing that now instead of when I actually activated this. I don't know if the engine does that. I feel like it does. No, because on this trigger, or this should have triggered it. I'm assuming the key up input was the initial trigger. Let's do it again. I will... How are we down here? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Wait, I press up. Okay. Wait, what? Okay, now I am for some reason stuck in here. Something is activated. Oh. That was weird. Press up. If I press... Oh, I'm seeing something. Hold on. I'm looking at the value of... This is like in the middle of my screen. Hold on. I'm looking at the value of the current checkpoint, and it's actually changing between many stages. Oh, that makes sense because we're iterating through them, right? This seems problematic. I feel like the way this code should be is check if something's pressed, iterate through all connections, then figure out what's connected to it, instead of figure out what's... or iterate through all connections, see if key is pressed, do stuff. Okay, so... So I have to understand that CP is not necessarily the checkpoint I'm sitting at. It could be, but it's not necessarily. Because we iterate through every connection point anyways. I don't like how this code's written. It's almost like I only want to check from the current connection I have. What are its neighbors? Why am I iterating through every checkpoint or connection point? This just screams wrong to me. I kind of want to try that. Let's just get the current connection point we're at. It seems like I did something lazy here. Like, I don't actually know what my current connection point is, and I'm figuring it out. Because look at this. Why am I iterating through every connection point when down here I'm checking with the current connection point? That doesn't make any sense. This for loop shouldn't exist. I don't see a reason for this this loop to exist. So I'm just going to delete it. And then let's figure out, okay. So click. I'm starting to think originally I had no way to check if I had a current, or what my current checkpoint was, a connection point. I keep calling him checkpoint. But yes, I think if I do this, this is the same code. It's an array. Or it's a pointer. But yes. I'm checking if... Oh, because when we click, we could click on anything on the map. So let's see. The logic should be, if we are clicking on the map, it could be any connection point in the overworld map. We're seeing if it's within the bounds. But if we're pressing a key, we're just navigating between two nodes. We only have to check the neighbors. So now I'm trying to think, how would that bug come about? Let's say, in theory, we press up, but something else was true. Oh, what if our mouse was overlapping another node, and then we pressed up? Now there are two statements unrelated to each other that need different logic that are both true. But we also have a check to see if the mouse is pressed. So we know if we're only using... Wait, is that true? Does and take precedence over or? There's no parentheses here. I just want to make sure. But I really should have parentheses there to make sure. Evaluates in order. Okay, good. That still looks dangerous, but this is also a mess, a logic mess. And then we check for if mouse was used, which is interesting, because... Oh, I see, we're just making sure we're not in a menu. If mouse is used when we're looking at connection point, we're updating the current connection point with whichever one we clicked on? Yes, because the current CP we would be moused over, so we're going to update it. If mouse is not used, we're going to look at all the neighbors of the current connection point. See, that doesn't make sense. Okay, this logic should be outside of a loop. Because if we're not using the mouse, then we're going to look at our current connection points, neighbors, and try to move. Otherwise, it will use some other connection point that's in this loop while we are pressing whatever key. Yeah, this looks really bad. Okay, so I think I understand now. The loop is for clicking connection points in the overworld map with the mouse. This other loop is intended only for keyboard and probably controller. So I'm going to do this for now. I think I can sort of see why it would be buggy. I've probably just never tried to press other random directions while being on another connection point. But it's kind of terrifying to know that that's possible. Okay. So if we're here, we already know the mouse is being used. So technically that's not needed. And this would happen. There's also a go to in here, which is absolutely funny. Let's see what that does. I don't think it's needed. It really isn't. it's gonna just happen down there anyway. Okay. And then here... this one... we just break out of the loop. Shouldn't be needed either. Oh. Okay. So now looking at it, if we use the keyboard key or the controller, based on our current connection points and neighbors, we're going to navigate. See what's pressed. If we don't find a neighbor index, where do we set that? Oh, it's right here. Okay. So iterate through. -1 is the default from... actually, I don't think -1 is the default. I think it just doesn't... it only does these. So it would do like 5, 4. 5, 4. If it's equal to -1, so what... I don't understand... maybe that's a bad value that we have to accommodate for sometimes? It sounds to me like Tiled can produce this if we do something funny. Like, it says unset right now, but what if I just give it some weird value? Object not found. Okay. And then I go look at stage 4-1. And... well, it does let me put 389. I don't know where the -1 comes from. I kind of want to leave it in just because I probably found a problem with this in the past. So what does this variable do? Direction index. So target direction, we're seeing which direction we're pressing. Is it equal to direction index? How does this get set? So we're starting at 0, we're going up by 1 each time. So north is 0, okay, so it's implied that the order of the variables in tiled is the same as the indices of, or the numbers I'm getting in target direction. So 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna rearrange that real quick. So visually, it looks correct. Up, right, down, left. So, if we're trying to move up and the... so this is just incrementing each time. So we're looking at first moving up, then we're moving, trying to move right, then we're trying to move left, then down. And that checks with the order of the neighbors. Assuming, okay, that's an array, so that will always be in order. I wonder why there's 8. There must be a reason there's 8. Oh, probably the reverse connections. I'll have to look at that later. Anyway, so if up and up... yes, okay. So if the up neighbor we're currently checking is equal to our target direction we want to go in, then we do all this. That's what actually makes us move on the map. Okay, this is sound logic. I think this is broken up correctly now. I'm just gonna try it first. And the go-to is interesting as well. Well, this is a fun bug. Probably... oh. What happened here? Connection point issues. Well, that can't be good. Is that my 3... Save. Oh, but there you go. It's like, there's no 389. Who'd have thought? Okay. At least it's actually reading proper. That's always a good thing. Okay. I wonder if this will fix both issues. Okay, so I'm using controller right now. D-pad works fine. I see that holding up still goes up, so that must be an input issue. Something with the input is funny holding up on the analog stick here. But we can navigate, just like before. Pressing up on 1-1 is still going to 4-1, so that's concerning. Pressing other directions not assigned does not break it, so that's good, I guess. So for some reason, specifically 1-1 goes to 4-1. For whatever bizarre reason, we're gonna have to figure that out now. So it didn't really fix anything, I just changed the code. Does mouse still work? Yes. Mouse navigation still works fine. Okay. What about holding the mouse? Or yeah, that shouldn't matter. Okay. So it's something specific with 4-1. Let's look at this one more time. I think the issue is the neighbor being assigned is that, at least we're not iterating through a bunch of connection points unrelated now. But I think the issue is that around assigned neighbor. Yeah, for some reason 48 is assigned here. So it has to do with how these connection points are originally handled. And that all happens, I think, at the beginning of the game. So let's go here. I think there's literally something called like initialize connection points. Connections. I'm trying to remember what it was called. We actually use it in tests just to set everything up. Initialize configurations. It must be in here. No? Okay. On user create. Initialize levels. Surely if we initialize levels, we're doing connection point stuff too. Oh, here we go. Okay. So it's definitely gotta be something about this. So where do we populate it? Specifically, how do we populate neighbors? I want to say neighbors actually comes from the parser itself, which is even more scary to look at. Oh god. I'm not ready to look at this one. So the TSX parser, it was handwritten by me, which in hindsight, not a great idea, but we're gonna have to figure out what it's reading here. So it is reading... Oh wait, it's gonna be the TMX parser, not the TSX parser. TSX is only for tiles. So back to the TMX parser. And we're gonna look at the neighbor code specifically. Oh, we're actually right at it. Great. Okay, so that's to give us extra inverted points. Neighbors. ID to index map. So this is... That doesn't matter. Let's look for neighbor specific stuff. Stage plates. Neighbor element. Connection. So if we look at our properties, we have connection 1, connection 2, connection 3, connection 4. The key is looking for that, and then it's going to grab the value. So I'm hoping the very first stage plate will immediately iterate here so we can just debug it easily. Otherwise I have to write like a conditional breakpoint. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're in here. Plate properties. This is campaign 1-1. So we can even see there's a connection 2 and a connection 3 here. What if it goes the other way? Hold on. Now I'm curious. What if that story stage plate, I don't think it had anything errant, but let me see. Unset, 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 unset. And in the map file? Oh. Wait, am I looking at the same? No. 3-1, right? Because this is stage plate 48, which is the suspect stage plate. 3-1. According to this, story 3, is that 3-2? 3-2. So, according to this... Oh wait, story. Story. So it has no connection point names, which is fine. Alright, let's see. Anyway, but yes. Connection 2, it will create it. So it created a connection, that's fine. Now do this again, but for connection 3. Yes. And it'll iterate through keys, finding any more connections, and then it'll add it to connections. So right here, at this point, it's assigned only 5 and 4 as neighbors. So I'm going to watch for when this value changes, because now this is in a list. Is this a vector? This is probably a vector. That probably won't work, actually. Maybe. I don't know if that's how that works. Maybe instead, let's do this. Let's do a watch for this, because this is static. And we will watch for if that changes. Oh god. So stay overworld map connections 0 dot neighbors 0. Okay, so right now it's -1. So even if this gets moved to another place in memory, break when value changes. it'll still reference the same thing. So now I'm just gonna wait for another breakpoint. Okay, so a breakpoint occurred here. I don't know why that popped up. Okay, so let's look at variables. Where are we? What are we doing? Hello? Where's my break? Oh, let me go back in the stack. Okay. Play properties. We're looking at campaign 1, 2. Wait, what? This is like scrambled data now. What? I do pushback, right? So pushback should add it to the end. What is happening? Oh, it's probably getting resized right now. That's probably what it's saying. So every time it gets resized, this is getting called? That's kind of lame. I think that's what's happening. So that's not really what I want, is it? Also, for some reason we're in gamepad. Okay. And then by the point we get to here, now it's pointing to 48. Okay, I need to... How do I get rid of this breakpoint? Help. This breakpoint is lost in the void. Debug. Detach all? No. Delete all breakpoints. Sure. Okay. So that was not right. The only problem is it's in a vector, so that can change often. There's gotta be another way. I mean, I could just print out the value each time and see... Well, I don't really like that. So how about this? We add a conditional breakpoint after this to check for that, right? That might work. So we're gonna say... Because after it's happened, that's when we really want to check. Connections 0 dot neighbors 0 is not equal to -1 because they all get assigned -1. Okay, so let's try that. Hopefully it gives us insight. Please? Please, please, please? Well, the window's already popped up, so it's loaded. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe it doesn't hit that because there's no code there. Or it just actually never happens. Well, let's try adding code. I might as well print it out while I'm at it, right? Couldn't hurt. At least the number of prints will tell us how many connections before this popped up, and maybe at least that will give us something to debug. I will have to rebuild though, it's gonna take a minute. What a weird situation to be in. I would really like to, I'll be honest. I really like the feature set that PGE3 has so far. I'm really impressed. I think I'm just excited to have a lot of the power of PGE2, but now in a more pixely aesthetic. I think that's the most exciting part. It would be a very fun experiment to see how a conversion to PGE3 from an established PGE2 project would go. So that would be fun. It looks like nothing happened. Hello? This terminal sucks. I'm going to run it in git bash so it's not doing that terribleness. Okay. So I have a way to run debug. Wait, am I in the right? Okay, yes. So I think I have a way to run the debug version of the game. Hopefully. I think I just changed this. I'm just gonna type debug. Everything else remains the same. And I'm gonna do it in this terminal, which should be nicer to us. Okay. Okay. So I just see -1s all throughout. But obviously that doesn't end up being the case, so something else must be touching this. If this breakpoint's not being triggered, well, then something is touching it later on in the game. So that's what we gotta figure out next. Okay. Well, at least I confirmed that much. Oh, time to put more prints. Actually, if this is done being populated, then we just have to see if another point in initialization has this issue. So let's go here. And we'll just look at the value of connection points at that point. We'll just start like... We'll just start cutting down the code until we can find a point where... a state in the game where the connections are wrong. Because at some point it is wrong. I almost wish I had a structure where I could say, okay, vector is done being written to, now we're gonna lock it so the values can't be touched anymore. Then I can just lock this here and be like, okay, if you get touched now, then crash, so we can find out what's going on. It might actually just be whatever happens next, because we then iterate through all connections, go through the neighbors. If value is not equal to -1, we're supposed to make a mirrored version of it. Could this cause problems? I don't think it could. But anyway, let's get to that breakpoint. I shouldn't have to recompile anymore. I'm gonna try not to make anything that requires me to recompile the whole game right now. Until I actually know what's wrong. Okay, so at this point in time, neighbors 0 is set to 48. So that's not good. Let's jump back a little and try again. Maybe we'll do it right after initialize levels and start from there. Okay, it's also 48 at this point. I assume before this it's not, because this is where all the levels get loaded, so... Try one more time, just to make sure. Yeah, it just doesn't exist right now, so... Let's narrow it down even further. Let's go to here, where we've kind of proven that it's not... It might actually be this too, because this val variable... No, that's a different val. God. Okay, let's get to there. So first time entering here. Right now, connection 0.neighbors 0 is out of bounds. What? Okay, that doesn't make sense. Sizes... Am I... Oh, okay, maybe first time we get here, there's nothing in here. That's entirely possible, right? Okay, still nothing. Oh, we're just reading a bunch of map data. Wait, really? This runs every single time we do map data? That's questionable. We do all this every single time we read from that file. Not that it's that bad, just I didn't realize that. Okay. How about once we have a connection? Fun. I always like going back to old code and being like, why would I ever do this? So we're checking if size is greater than 0 for this breakpoint. Okay, so now we've hit it and we've got 59 connections, so we obviously read them in. Right now, neighbors 0 is -1, so I think we've hit the jackpot. This is where we want to be. So we can enter. We're starting with counter 0, so I assume that means we're going to look at the very first node. This looks right. We're connected to 1 and 2, which should be this one. No, that's 4 and 5. Where's 1 and 2? I have no idea. What node are we on? Stage 1-1. Oh. Why is it 1 and 2? Oh, these are indices into the connections array, not the IDs. Okay, that might explain why I've been so confused. They're probably they're connected with internal IDs. Not whatever IDs are shown. That's so weird. Okay. I hope that system's not bugged, because this is... Okay, so... This is supposed to ID each ID from tiled into an index in the array. So, for example, ID 3 here is supposed to be the first element, which it is. Stage 1-1 was the first stage plate we created, and it's at index 0 into this array. So I assume this is correct. So we can go down and look at 48, and we see it's ID 53, which makes sense. That's stage plate 4-1. So now I'm starting to understand what we're dealing with. So ID 53 maps into index 48 in the array. So we can go look at 48 just to see if anything weird is happening. Here's stage 4-1. Here's our neighbors. Oh, there are zeros here, which means when the neighbor mapping occurs, they will bounce back. Okay. But they're unset here. Oh, but they're white unset. Okay, look at this. I hate that tile does this. It says unset, but you can see the text is white right now. Hold on. Here's another node, but this has a grayish text, and it says it's unset. So this is like, there's a value there. That's what it's saying. Like there, once it has a value. At least it thinks it has a value. I remember running into this in the past before. And I forgot what I did to fix this, but because we can see here now, connection 1 north, if I pressed up on story 4-1, it goes, or sorry, not story, but stage. Although that's wrong too, so same issue. Here's stage 4-1, I got a 0 on both north and south. So they're there, even though they're not supposed to be. Oh, that's frustrating. But it makes sense. At least there's a sensible explanation. I think the way we fix this is remove property. There we go. So if you remove the property becomes inactive. You can see it's grayed out again. And I can hit save. Once I close my game. And voila. So I think so I'm gonna be a little practical about this one. I want to prevent this from ever happening in the future, but I don't have control over tiled. Instead, I need to write some kind of test or check that says, hey, this doesn't look right, you should probably fix it. I think this is the most common issue. We have some number, we decide we don't want it, we hit clear, now it says unset, but it's clearly not unset. This property still exists. So, how do we get it to not be invalidated? We can choose to ignore any 0 values, but then we have to make sure anything connected to 0 still works. Well, index 0, stage plate 1-1. We could hard code that these two are supposed to be connected to it, but that's not very flexible. But it would be the fastest way to jury-rig it. And it's only 0. Like, if we had some other value in here, and it didn't work, we clearly saw the game crashed saying, hey, this connection point doesn't exist. It's just, by default, tiled says, hey, this is connection point 0, so we can connect it. I think I'm just going to hardcode it. I don't see any other way around it, really. I could also just add a flag to stage plates that say we're supposed to be connected to 0. How crazy would that be? Actually, I'm looking at it even closer now. There are no stage plates that point back to here. So if we mirror back... yeah, no stage plates connect to here. Stage 1-1 connects to other stuff. So this actually works, as long as we put it in the neighbor creation part of the code. Okay, good. Good. if value is not equal to -1 and it's not equal to 0, should we make a warning? I think we should still produce a warning, right? So we'll just say if value is equal to 0, we'll just say I don't actually have like a way to print a warning. Oh, maybe I do. Hold on. Error. Oh, log. I do. I just forgot. So log. We're gonna say standard format. We'll say warning. Because I know other connection points have this right now, so I kind of want to warn. Should we just crash? I don't know if fixing is the right move or letting it be. It might be annoying to have to fix it every time. Like, I don't mind doing this, but also if it says unset in the editor, I really don't want it to have to go in and be like, actually unset it. So I think this is fine. If it says unset in the editor, I want to treat it like it actually is unset. I think this works. I like this. So we'll just log it. Warning. Print out the name. Is connected. Is supposedly connected. Connected to. We'll just print the name of whatever is at the 0 slot. This is very likely a mistake. Okay. And we will print the name of this connection. I believe it's just connection.name. I'll have to double check. What? I don't want to delete bookmarks. Why you keep asking me that? Did I forget my shortcuts? Control K. Control KL? I'm blanking on the. Hold on. Control K. Control O. Yeah, I guess I'm blanking on the shortcut. I'm trying to press Control K, Control L instead of Control O. Alright. I don't know where connection point is defined, actually. We're gonna have to search. Types. Connection point. Oh, there's a header called connection point. Here we go. Okay, so we just use name. That's what we're gonna print. So, it's very likely a mistake. We'll look at the first connection. Zero.name. And hopefully that fixes it. I don't have IntelliSense here right now because this is a single header file with the source blocked off by a define block. I will enable it if I'm having trouble though. Like, I just have a define I can turn on just to make IntelliSense work temporarily while I work on it. But this is like a single header, no source file implementation, so it runs into the same issues that any other file like this would. And now we wait. And hopefully that fixes the first bug. I'm glad we spent some time really deep diving into this because, yeah, ending up with strange behaviors like this because of errant values thanks to Tiled's features, quote unquote, is stupid. And then as for the controller input one, that will probably be code I look at next time, because something input handling related is a little scary. Although I don't think it's the controller input system in my game actually giving a bad value, because other places it works fine. I noticed the code we were looking at for state connection point or state overworld map. There was some code specifically for figuring out if we had our controller like pressed. So I'm guessing the issue is probably somewhere along this code, maybe. Because if we think about this for a second, we're seeing if the analog value is greater than 0.2, and if we hold it up, it's clearly going to give us that value. But why does it only happen for up, is the question. Like, it is the first if statement. That's not much help. We'll have to figure that part out. It's going to be interesting to look at why that's happening. Okay, let's take a look. Hopefully this is good now. Oh, you know what? We could probably look in the console. There should be warnings now. Never mind, it's the stupid Windows console. I could... whatever. Press up. Oh, we still go here. Press up, we go to 4-2? I want to say the problem still exists because we're still connected. In some ways. Alright. Well, I don't think we're home free yet. I thought we would be. But we're not quite... Oh, I need to kill this. I haven't done anything, really. I've just logged it. I want to completely ignore it and move on, so we do a... We're inside 2 for loops. We just want to ignore it for this neighbor, though. This connection neighbor. So we will continue in this loop. Like so. Alright. Unfortunately, I will have to recompile that again. And that'll probably be all the time we have for today. Maybe we can do some very light debugging of the controller stuff, but I think it's definitely a task for next time. And then we can close out another issue. Yeah, good stuff. I really hope I can finish this game this year. It would be great. I'm gonna have a lot more time to work on it, so I'm excited. And maybe I'll actually get back into some other One Lone Coder community stuff. That'll be fun. I had an actual protein shake. I mixed up the fruit with the protein powder. So I actually had stuff. It was very dense, so I'm pretty much good to go for lunch. They're a bunch of weirdos. Oh, I know. Be careful. Fun, fun. Alright. Let's hope we're good. Please, 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 please. Alright. Oh. Okay. Good news is I can't go up from 1-1 anymore. But according to this, I can still go down here and up here. What does that mean? Oh, so we have to do the opposite. So, while yes, we no longer mirror the nodes back, we still have that issue for establishing the initial connection points, which would be these right here. So... So this is where we actually grab the value. We have to say if this is equal to 0, we're not going to accept it unless... So this is where the hard coding part, I guess, is going to come in. Because I thought, okay, we'll be fine, but... Well, nothing should specify 0, right? So yes, we just add in the same code here. In fact, this code that I thought was supposed to be here should be up here. Then there will be no zeros to be neighbored. So the neighbors won't be mirrored if the value doesn't exist in the first place. And the value should never exist. So if... We'll store this in a value real quick and check it. If it's equal to 0, we're not gonna process it. Int val, read in this guy. Check if it's equal to 0, if so... Warning, blah 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 is connected to blah. That's probably a mistake. Continue. New connection, because we don't actually have connection yet. And just for clarifying, I'm gonna put val here because it should be equal to 0. And then set it. If so. Otherwise, continue. Alright. I'm just going to put a comment here. Prevents accidental connections. Well, I guess the warning messages tells us that, but I'll write it in code. Prevents accidental connections to index 0. Which shouldn't be happening. Now, interestingly, if for some reason we connected something to 0, or if we tried to connect something, yeah, like, let's say story 1-1 was created before, well, this hinges under the assumption that this is the very first stage plate rendered. What if I delete this and make a new stage 1-1? Now all this will be messed up. So hard coding this 0 in here would actually be a bad idea. In case we change that. So maybe instead... so the condition would be... if the number of connections... Like, we could literally just lock this and say, don't touch it. I don't really like that, though. Because who knows, we might add, like, a pre-story thing, we might move things, we might delete things, rearrange things, right? Anything could happen. So first, I guess the conditions would be... First check if there's at least one connection. If so, we have to see if the connection... is equal to the first stage. No, we just have to see if... Because this problem would be present no matter what, right? Whatever is the first stage plate should never be connected to it. So we just have to make sure whatever is the first stage plate is never connected. So let's say we're in a situation where we instead of doing this, we do this. We basically made it so this never could work. We would be deleting that potential. Is that okay? I guess that would be fine, because we like the arrows to be pointing towards where we would naturally want to progress. I think that's pretty intuitive. It would be nice to have that noted somewhere for my game designer, though. So I need to figure out how I want to word that. We know that when we have to add a map, we have to go in here. I just don't know. Like, this is an assumption we'll just have to live with. I guess I'll make a note here. Note about map connections. Wait, can I add text to tiled? Maybe I'll just write in here if I can. Oh, here we go. No, this is perfect. That's actually exactly what I should do. Alright. I've never used this before. Also, I don't think this will matter for... Can't wait to hang out later? Yeah, me too. Okay. This is gonna be silly, but I don't actually think my parser will care that this is here. I hope not. How do I change? Can I change here? Note. Nothing. I also have to make this way smaller. Font. Here we go. Okay. Let's do size 10. There. That is not 10. It says 13. What? God, what is this mess? Tiled, please. Okay. We're off by 3, apparently. Oh, we're just off. 8 gives 11. 7 gives 9. I don't even know anymore. Okay. We'll take it. Okay, note. Nothing should be connected to the initial stage plate. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'll make it red. It's important. Pink. There we go. Alright. That's fine. No, I like that actually. Now we know. Oh. Get rid of that line. And now we're back here. And this statement, once again, is true? Yes. So now we can do this again. Now we don't have that issue. New connection.name, connectionsval.name. I think we're done. Now, if the val is equal to 0, it won't get assigned to neighbors, which means neighbors won't mirror the opposite direction back to stage 1-1, and we're good. Unless there's something else I didn't foresee. All in a day's work, I guess. I was supposed to code more fun monsters. So the next one I'm going to be coding is... we have to code the skeleton archer. Okay, that one's actually already coded. So, skip. Skeleton Captain. Lance shield mounted on a horse has, looks like, 2 abilities. And the flag buffs other units. Also, we have to add in the mana mechanic when we add in mages. So monsters don't currently have mana. That is a brand new mechanic for this chapter. So we're gonna have to add that as well. I was talking to my game designer, like, can we just map the mana generation to cooldowns as well? Like, if you regenerate X amount of mana, then you can just convert these to cooldowns, but then we have the flag mechanic, which generates more mana. So would we give the monsters cooldown reduction? The mana concept just makes more sense. Also, I guess thematically it is correct to write it in code that way anyway, so it's probably just easier that way. I just thought originally, like, hey, can we just do cooldowns? Because we already have cooldowns. Alright, okay, good. I don't see an up arrow here, which means I can't navigate up anymore. That's good. I can't navigate down anymore. I'm just gonna go to every connection point and make sure I didn't botch something. I should be able to navigate to every single connection point with the controller. And it looks good. Thanks, Javid. Thanks for stopping by. Glad to see you as well. And take care. Have a good one. Cheers. It looks like we're done with our bug. We're all fixed. Yes! Take care. Bye. I'm just glad to have something done. This was issue. Oh, also... that's just static variable cleanup that I don't want to fix. This branch doesn't exist anymore, so I have to make a new branch. Well, it exists locally, but let me make a new branch that only fixes this issue, because I forgot. New branch. This is called... where is here? Connection point fixes. We'll just call it that. Connection point fixes. Check out branch. Bring changes. And commit. Connection points. No longer make connections to the starting level mistakenly, thanks to the tiled editor. Like, literally, it's the editor that messes everything up for us, which is really stupid, but it is what it is. Oh, let me fix this. This is normally running release, not debug. I could have just hit undo, but that's fine. Okay. And then this is release version. Build. 12296. We're also going to put the issue number 101. Fixes issue number 101. Good to mention it so it back links to this issue or this commit, so we know which commit actually fixed everything, in case I need to review it later. Anyway, this is a good stopping point for today. I hope you all enjoyed and had a good time. I sure did. I love coding. Coding's fun. Coding's hard. Coding's mean. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye!